that succeeded. It took a little while. It took 5 minutes. So sometimes compiles are long. So let's start this up and see what we can do with it. If I look at my content browser, I now have my effector directory, and here's my effector actor. And I think I know something that I might have missed, but maybe not. So let's make a blueprint based off of that class. And I'm going to put it in our blueprint folder, and I want to put it into effect actors, right? Because that's what it's going to be. So that's where we're going to put it. And so I go here and I right click, let's create a blueprint and put it in our effect actors. And I'm going to call it. Now this one, so this one could be let's make it an area of fire. So it's going to cause health damage. And so and this one, these would be somewhat specific, I guess. Let's create one for now. Let's call it BP fire area. And let's create that. So here we are. We've got our root component, and that's all we've got in here. And so if we look, we've got an actor level. We can just tell whether to destroy it on effect removal. We'll leave that as false. And here's all of those options that we can set. So is it going to be an instant? Is it going to be a duration based? Is it going to be infinite? So a lava pool or whatever, we're going to say that it's going to be a oh, I don't have a gameplay effect. I just have these things, which isn't something we want. So we need to create a gameplay effect for this. So let's go to our content browser, and I think they should live together with their object. So maybe maybe, yeah, maybe not. Those are our defaults. I think that should be here. Let's put it in our effects. Yeah. Yeah. I think we should put it in our effects. Let's not clutter our stuff up too much. These are just the actors and these are effects. So these were defaults. These are all our primary gameplay effects, secondary attributes, I mean all our main attributes and stuff. So in here, I think we can just leave it at this level. So let's go and let's find that blueprint type, blueprint, gameplay, there it is. Gameplay ability? I want a gameplay effect. So let's go under blueprint class. Let's go all classes. And we want a gameplay effect. We want a gameplay effect. Select that. I'm going to call this one BP fire area or something like that. Oops, I got a double capital in there. Fire area. If I open that up, and I'm going to say that it is an infinite version. And So this is where you can set all sorts of fun stuff like the stacking. Um, and we could aggregate by source or by target. Each target has its own stack. Each caster has its own stack. Uh, so I guess it needs a period in seconds. So how often is this going to be applied? So if we said every second, and then execute period effect on application. Yes. So that would be, do you want to apply it immediately when you go in and then every second after? And this would be, if you uncheck this, you would have to wait the second before it would first apply. And it never resets. Stacking type is none. And so here's where we get to see what does it do. So what does this gameplay effect do? So if we look at the modifiers for it, and we say, well, we want to modify something. So we're going to say we're going to modify our health attribute. And we want to add to our health. And we're going to add a negative value because it's going to hurt them. So we're going to do a -5 points of damage. Okay. And that's all that's going to do. So I'm going to compile and save that. Now if I go back to my fire area, and if I look at infinite gameplay effect class, I can pick my BP fire area. And see here. Da, 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 and we want its effect application to happen when we on overlap, so when we enter it, and we will remove it when we end overlap. So when we walk in, we'll start getting burnt. When we walk out, we'll be okay. So currently this doesn't have any object at all. So what we can do here is we can add. I'm just going to put a box collision in, right? And I'm going to give it some size. So I'm going to give a box extent of in the X and Y direction of I don't know, 200. So a 2 meter by 2 meter box. Okay. I'm gonna give it a line thickness because that's only going to be the only thing that we're going to see in the game because we're not adding any Niagara effects or anything like that at this point. But we need to set the collision for this box. So if we go down, so this just never ends here, it seems. If we go down to the collision presets, we see that it will overlap with the pawn. I think we're okay with that. Let's see if that should work. Yeah. So it's overlap all. Yeah. So let's leave it like that for now. Say okay. And if I go back to my content browser and if I grab this blueprint and I drag it into my, oh, won't let me drag it in. Compile, save. Oh, because we should do something with it. Let's look at our event graph. So what we want to be able to do here is we've got some functions that we want to do. So on our component Let me just put, type in overlap. These are our functions that we want from our thing, but we want the, oh yeah, there's a way to get this thing, this root. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Is it this one? Oh, is it components, box, add event, on component begin overlap? So yes, so on our box collision, if we can right click it and then we go to add event, and then we can get our on component overlap and we can get our on component end overlap. So on our component overlap, if I drag off of it, I want to do our on overlap function for our effector actor. And the target actor is the other actor, whoever walked into it. And similarly for the on end overlap, we want to do the end overlap function. And the other actor is the target actor. Okay, let's compile and save. And let's see. Our effect actor. Oh, I tried to drag out BP fire actor. Oh, I should rename this. Should I? Because this is a gameplay effect. I'm going to rename this because this is a fire area, fire area. These are both the same, but they're very different. I'm going to close both of those. I'm going to rename this one. It should be a gameplay effect fire area. Yeah, because this parent class is a gameplay effect, and that will keep me from trying to drag it into this level. So now if I drag this blueprint into the workshop, I can drag it in. I can bring it up to the surface. I can hold it above and push end, and it'll, I guess it's kind of in the middle of it, but that's okay. So it's sitting there. We're going to start at our player start, and that's our fire area. Let's see. So the thing is, well, if we walk into that and our red bar starts to drop, then I guess we did it all. So I'm going to save all. I'm going to go File, Save All, just in case we do a massive crash. I'm going to push play. Oh, I'm going to push stop because it's less exciting because I want to, I'm going to go back to my BP fire area and I'm going to select my collision box and I'm going to uncheck hidden in game so that it stays visible. Okay, and I'm going to push play and there it is. So now if I walk into there, right? So if our player stats, our health is 142. And I go in here and I'm going to come out. I'm still at 142. So that didn't work very good. I'm going to close this. And it also disappeared. So it must have, oh, see, that's why that needs to be an and. Because for this, it successfully applied, but then it disappeared, right? So let's go back to our template here. And I'm going to make this an and this might not be satisfied yet, but we're going to make it an and for now. And I'm going to just do a live coding recompile here. Okay. So let's see if that, again, our stats are 142. Actually, I can leave that open. Oh, it went down. Oh, it's going down. Oh, and our health bar is going down. And I run out and it stops. And I go back in and it's going down by, it's going down by more than 5. Let's start that again. It's like it's doing it twice. Stats 102, 92, 82, 72. So it's going down by 10. That's not right. Um, Let me try to find that. So we're standing in the thing. So our overlap happened. It applied our infinite effect. And I'm thinking maybe our gameplay effect, if I go into my effects, execute periodic effect on application. I'm wondering if it happens if it's applying this twice. So I'm going to uncheck this, compile and save. And let's go ahead and step in there now. We'll open their stats up. So we're at 142, 132, 122, 112. Coming in twice. I think I'm okay. So I believe I haven't searched it through. I thought we'd do that together. I believe it's because this fire area box collision, it is going to overlap with a pawn, objects of type pawn. And if I look at our hero character, if I look at his capsule component, the capsule component collision type is type pawn. And its mesh collision type is type pawn. And so the fire effect is applying both to the mesh and the capsule. And so a way to do it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into project settings, under collision, object channels, and we're going to create a new object channel. And I want to call it an effect actor. And the default response is going to be ignore. And we're going to accept that. So now we have this new object type. And so on our fire area, and I'm pretty figuring this out as we go here. On our fire area, our collision presets for our box, it's all the same thing for our box, is going to be custom. And what we want it to do is overlap the effect actor. No, we want it to, no, yeah, no, yeah. No, we want to set its object type. Yeah. We want to set its object type to effect actor. And it's going to only overlap. So we can ignore all, but we want it to overlap with type pawn. And then, so I can compile and save that. Now if I go to my hero character, and if I look at the capsule component first, and I'm Just double checking with things here. So the capsule component, collision, it can still stay as pawn. And we don't actually have to change anything here. Because it's going to ignore the effect actor. But our mesh, we don't want to affect the capsule. We want to affect the mesh. And so for the mesh, we want to create a custom preset here. And what we want to do is we can leave everything else as the way it was, but our effect actor, we want to overlap with the effect actor. So now if I compile and save, go into our workshop and push play, I'll open my player stats. So I'm at 142, we should hit 137 after a second. Or now we're not getting anything. Okay, what did we miss? Our BP fire area. He's supposed to overlap with the pawn. BP fire area. Query only. Effect actor. Oh, yeah, no, generates overlap events. Maybe that's the other thing that I need to fix on the character. On the character, if I look at the mesh, yeah, so we need to set the mesh to generate overlap events. Normally, the capsule's only doing the overlap events. So we compile and save that, and now we'll try it. And here we go. We'll open our stats, and we'll come in, and nothing. Let's make sure that this is actually got those same things set. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete it from here. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to drag a new one in just in case it's not a same compiled version of it or what have you. All right, let's try that. Nothing. So right, I found it, and it has to do with the fact that we've got this temporary mesh in here. So these settings for our mesh, for our pawn, our real character, when we put it in, these will work. This will work. And I'm going to leave that, including the generate overlap events. That is correct. But our temporary mesh, since we were relying on the capsule, we just told the capsule to ignore the effect actor, and it was of type pawn. So if I take this temporary mesh, because our fire area is only going to affect our pawn. So if I go into our hero character and I take this temporary mesh and I give it the object type instead of block all dynamic, I go custom and I say, you know what, you're a pawn and I want you to overlap with the effect actor. You can continue blocking all the other stuff. I don't care. And I'm going to save. And now if I go in here and I'm going to open our player stats and we'll walk in. And 1 second later, we started to start taking our hits 5 at a time. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to our BP fire area, or I should say our game effect, and I want it to start burning us right away when we walk in and not have that delay. And so now if I walk in, I start getting burned right away. And when I leave, it's all good. Perfect. We can create a similar one for a healing pool and our buttons will go up. We can make another one for our stamina and mana pool. Maybe I'll do that and we'll, but off camera, and we'll create those similar pools and we'll have those types of events placed out for us. Um, we could also play with some instant and duration areas that disappear when we first step into them, and then apply their effect as they go on, all from that one effect actor base class. So thanks for watching. I think what we're going to do next, because this is pretty good. This is a pretty good starting point far as a template goes. Um, and since I'm also needing to have to now maybe get back into my courses on this to learn a little bit more to apply to you guys, I think what we should do next is maybe package this thing up, and well, not necessarily package it up, but move it into and create it so that we could create a default a starting template and then be able to create projects from this and know how that gets done. And following that, what I want to be able to do is how do you update that template after? And because that's going to be something that you're going to be always doing. And so we'll see what happens with that. So thanks for watching. We'll probably have one more quick little video back after this that we'll have laid out on our floor here, the different area types. We can put little different meshes in some of them, perhaps, like in some of the standard assets that or that you can get from the marketplace, the free ones, where they got the little display with some words on it about what happens there. I think those might be useful reminder bits to implement into here, and so we can do that, and then we'll actually create this template. Thanks a lot. Hope you're enjoying it. Smash the like again, and help me out on the old YouTube Roonies. Thanks. Have a good one.